Hello, welcome to this little video where I'll be talking through a CMI assignment 704, developing organizational strategy and assessment criteria 1.1. So this will just be a proposed approach to how you might engage with this assessment criteria. So we have to critique the factors which drive the development of organizational strategy. And because it says critique, and this is a level 7 assignment, we can't just describe those factors. We have to provide detailed analysis and assessment of something, especially a literary, philosophical, or political theory. So, what we need to do is not just describe factors that drive strategy, but really dig into them a bit and critique them, provide a detailed analysis, look at perhaps how these factors could have positive or negative effects on the development of strategy. So, factors which drive strategy, they could be internal. It could be that there's a vision statement of significant goal that the organization wants to be the world's greatest, this, that, or the other. A desired cultural organizational change. So it could be that you want to make the organizational culture more modern, more inclusive, more welcoming. It could be that you need to make the organization more efficient. So you need to restructure. Or it could be driven by personalities. So sometimes you have, against influential people with a strong sense of social purpose. Sometimes that can be driven by the middle, not just by the top as well. If you have a group of people who come together and they want to achieve something through their work, that could be a driver of strategy. But then there are also external drivers of strategy as well. So political, economic, social, technological, legal, environmental, and ethical factors, external forces that the organization will need to respond to. So things like legislation change, regulation, competitor activity, all of these sorts of things will drive or create a need to develop a strategy. And that's probably a good way to look at it. It's like, how do these things create a need to develop a strategy rather than just keep on going and hope for the best? So an example, right, so diesel engine regulation. So this from a few years ago, you will remember Dieselgate. Volkswagen were most publicized for it, but I think a lot of vehicle manufacturers were sort of culpable in this. So using software, essentially clever software to cheat the system so that the engines as they were being tested seemed to be more efficient and eco-friendly than they really were. So the factor that drove this strategy was very tight ecological regulation. And I've heard a podcast where people who were inside the industry were saying that the reason they did it was that actually the regulations were just impossible to meet. So to meet the regulation whilst also developing a vehicle that people would want to drive and own was mission impossible. And that forced the engineers to find a workaround. So a clever way to overcome or work, to beat the system essentially. So now you'll have a view on this. Fundamentally dishonest, absolutely. Isn't it extraordinary that these enormous organizations could do such a thing? But you might also say that actually was that regulation reasonable and well thought through? Was it, agreed and discussed with the right experts in the room, or was it a simple um, autocratic direction from senior bureaucrats that actually was never going to be achievable for the manufacturers? So actually creating a significant problem rather than what it really needed to achieve, which is greener vehicles. So one to discuss really. I think that there's you could say that this one's fairly complex when you look at the factor was about I suppose in environmental sustainability. The impact was to create absolute chaos. And yeah, you'll have a view whether you would want to, hammer VW and similar for what they did, or whether you might take uh, a slightly more sympathetic view to them having to solve an impossible problem. Another example, there we go. So Patagonia, I have a Patagonia rucksack, actually. It's very good. So Patagonia are strongly driven towards sustainability. So they have their strategy, there we go, is kind of outlined there. So they have a vision. 2025, we will eliminate virgin petroleum material in our products. We'll only use preferred materials. We're reducing our reliance on fossil fuels by creating products with reduced polyester, like our better sweater jackets. I haven't got one of those. And we can see, right, so we've got kind of a step change here. Their sort of their strategy is around activism, the products they're developing, and also their donation to ecological causes. So so here we go. So they give some of their profits back, not much. I mean, 1%. Come on, Patagonia, you can do better than that, surely. But anyway, you can see that they have developed a strategy to engage with sustainability. Now, I'm not going to critique this one too much, but what I do know is that there are an awful lot of Gen Zers, so youngsters coming out of university today, who are very motivated by this and want to work for organizations like Patagonia, and probably not for organizations like Volkswagen. So the benefits of developing a strategy like this. So, okay, the factor is ecological sustainability, but you might well see multiple advantages and benefits being created for organizations like this by taking such a strong ethical line. There we go. So I don't know much about Patagonia actually, and it'd be interesting to know whether they actually really live up to the brand. There we go. So, over to you. What factors drive organizational strategy in your business or sector? I would say choose two or three, depending on how much depth you want to go into. And I think, yeah, just a good discussion really about that factor. Has it had a positive or a negative impact? And also, how effectively do you think your strategy has engaged with these factors? So have you do you think that the organization has understood the factor? Has it interacted with it well in a way that's ethical and sustainable? Yeah, just have a discussion really. Just critique it, look at the strengths and weaknesses of how that factor has influenced your business strategy, and then we will be complete. Thank you very much.